if your business plan requires that people die from cancer, it's not a good business plan. I got involved with organizing through Occupy and through community rights efforts, and then I discovered that the Sierra Club was fighting the largest, you might say, the largest increase of fossil fuels in the history of the planet, proposed right through our town, our city of Vancouver, Washington. They wanted to bring about 30 or 40 unit trains of coal through Clark County, Vancouver, through the Columbia River Gorge, affecting the tribes there, through Spokane, and all the way up to different terminals on our coast. And I thought, this is on our turf. We are called to do what we can to oppose this. I agree with James Hansen, who said to the effect, if the Keystone Pipeline were to be approved, that would be game over for climate change. Well, it turns out that the amount of carbon pollution that would travel by rail through Vancouver, Washington would exceed the amount of carbon pollution that would be proposed to go through the Keystone Pipeline. We learned a long time ago that when you disrupt the balance of nature, there are going to be consequences that we cannot foresee. There are going to be consequences that may be harmful, and we should not do things that destabilize the balance of nature. With climate change, more and more severe droughts and more severe floods will impact communities everywhere. The health impacts are shortened lives. I've thought for even George Bush's administration said 13 years ago, around 2005, that for each dollar we spend on reducing diesel emissions, we'll save $4 in healthcare costs. There are some people that focus on social justice issues and yet say nothing about a new oil terminal that's going to be in their neighborhood. Generally speaking, low-income communities live near ports where the diesel emissions from barges and ships pollute the air. The trains pollute the air, and also the emissions from the tank farms pollute the air, and those are poorly regulated. Fossil fuels in many ways harm low-income communities the most, and communities of color. And I found within the Native American community the strongest allies, the well-to-do communities. They can move if they have to. They can buy cancer treatment. They have good health care, and their cancers will be detected early. But low-income people tend not to have that much. And so we believe this is a social justice issue. Communities that have been excluded from the economy need to be included. Native Americans have done a better job in many cases of protecting the environment than our own government in Washington, D.C. has. I concluded back in the 70s when I started teaching that all forms of energy production are harmful to the environment, and therefore we need to minimize, we need to conserve, we need to be more efficient. There needs to be just as much incentive to reduce a kilowatt as there needs to be to produce a kilowatt. The first step, in my opinion, is you need to find like-minded people. And the way to find, there's many ways to find like-minded people. We did it by standing in front of the library with a petition asking Governor Inslee to oppose the coal terminals. We did it by standing in front of at the farmers market asking people to sign a petition to the city councils and to the port commissions in the area to oppose. And so now the Sierra Club locally has about 4,000 names in their database, and I started keeping names in my own database and have about the same number. The television station, Channel 2, put a microphone in front of my face, and I said, the Army Corps knows that the pipeline company is breaking the law. The Army Corps is allowing them to break the law. People from the Show Up for Racial Justice and the grandfather of the Standing Rock chair went with us to the office of the general in charge of approving permits, and 6 days later it was announced that the pipeline company could not put oil through until they'd gotten all their permits, and they had not yet gotten all their permits. So we feel that we stopped the pipeline company for 2 months until President Trump took office and said, let's expedite this. So now we're hoping to have the courts side with the Standing Rock tribe and to stop the Dakota Access Pipeline. The resolution passed by the City of Vancouver might have been a watershed moment to inspire others. We organized the public opposition against the oil terminal, and 700 people showed up to a public hearing at the City Council meeting to ask the City Council to take a stand against the oil terminal. And the Vancouver City Council said to the Port Commission, cancel the lease. They said to the governor, reject the oil terminal. They said to all other communities in the state of Washington, do not welcome oil terminals in your communities if they would increase oil train traffic through Vancouver. Many of the cities between Vancouver and Grays Harbor along the railroad have passed resolutions against the oil terminals in Grays Harbor. The resolution said to the effect, reconsider your lease, reconsider your plans for oil terminal in Grays Harbor. And we've had progressive governors all along. Even a Republican governor in 1982 rejected an oil pipeline across the state of Washington. He said at the time, we don't need to spoil the state of Washington. People don't want us to, so we're not going to do it. What I think is the most important thing for cities to do is to pick a date that they want to be fossil fuel free, and then work back from that, what policies need to go in place. City of Portland has said they want to be fossil fuel free on the grid by 2035. We need the City of Vancouver and all other cities, wherever possible, to lead, because we're not going to have any leadership from Congress or from the White House. We have hundreds of people, sometimes thousands of people, showing up at public hearings to take a stand, and it's very emotional to see all the people that care about taking a stand against environmental destruction. Together we have a voice, together we have power, together we can protect the little guy. What keeps me going is knowing that I'm doing everything I can to protect civilization.